North winds.
Oh yeah, I did say that.
And he was like, it wasn't about slavery, it was about states' rights. And I'm just like, whatever. It was about slavery. All right, I am hitting record.
I'm just checking our volumes.
Thank you, Devin.
Cheese has been a hot minute, guys.
The cheese? What?
It's been a hot minute since I talked to y'all guys.
Yeah.
I know, right? You haven't been on in a while.
Mr.
Bro,
I'm too busy.
Yeah.
Dude, today, yes. Millie got attacked by a dog at 3:30 this morning, or 3 o'clock this morning.
What the
Oh,
hell?
God.
Why was she awake at 3 o'clock this morning?
She wasn't. The dog attacked when everybody was sleeping.
While she was sleeping.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they were at a friend's house. Her and Charlamagne.
Jesus.
Everybody was sleeping, and the dog attacked, and she got lucky. Got it like around her eyebrow.
Can you imagine? Like that dog is like these motherfuckers. I'm gonna get
that
him when
dog
they
is-
least expect it.
How big
That dog
a
is-
was it?
It was a pit lab, chocolate lab. Dog is dead. The dog died. Well, it had a bullet in it about 2 hours after the attack happened.
Oh, okay. Did you shoot it?
No, the owner shot it.
Oh, okay. All right. Are we ready? And on that
I
note,
I disposed of it. That's it.
yeah, thanks for joining
What's it
us.
like to dispose of a body, Flipper?
You just drop it off.
Oh, where?
We dropped it off with her dad, like the person's.
Oh, okay.
All right. 3, 2. Good pre-show talk, guys. 3, 2, 1. Oh shit! Hang on. Let me hit record. I just wanted to end this conversation. All right. 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Cape Complainers. Joining me, as always, are the complainers. I have with me today Devin, Tim, and Flippo. I am your host, Greg. We are a weekly podcast show talking all things nerdy. And today's
After the
episode,
fact.
we will be talking about Marvel's What If. It's an animated show on Disney Plus where it retells, I guess, moments and shit going on in the MCU. But before we do that, what if Devin had a good thought this week? Devin, what is your thought?
Okay. I don't think you're gonna think it's great though, Greg.
Okay.
But it is random. I'll give you this one.
Doesn't that happen most of the time?
It's probably it's probably on par with Baloney almost.
Baloney was pretty bad.
Well, okay, then you don't have high hopes. So my thought this week was like, who designated what like fingers mean? You know what I mean? Like, who's the person that was like, hey, this means go F yourself. This is the finger you put your ring on when you're married. You know what I'm saying?
This is what you point with.
Yeah, who designated that?
So who invented the purposes of your finger?
What digit is what?
Yeah, like who? Yeah, because it's like widely known. Like, oh, your left, like pink finger next to your pinky is your ring finger, right? You wear a ring on this when you get married. This is what you put your wedding ring on.
I'm gonna say this now, Devin. This is the content I want. This is what I need in my life. This is why I wanted Devin's thoughts to be a thing, because this is asinine.
But
I don't know. I figured people throughout life have just like said, "Hey, that over there," and like, "Oh, this is my pointer finger." And I don't.
because I point with this finger. Yeah, but why didn't someone be like, "What's that over there?" You know what I'm saying? What's that?
Question.
This guy. Yeah.
Did you Google it?
Nope. I don't Google
Why
my
not?
answers. I just come in and ask. Because Googling takes out all the fun of the question.
According to Google, a Greek philosopher, Diogenes, was the first to give someone the finger.
Is this where the term digits come from?
Maybe.
Diogenes.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, on that same note, though, like, he gave this finger, the middle finger, because in different cultures, that symbol is different. You know what I'm saying? I watched a talk show where someone was like, yeah, when Americans do this, but, like, they, like, I think it's Brits, theirs is like this. Yeah.
Why didn't you
Read
listen
between
to
the
a
lines.
talk show about, like, I don't know, who named fingers?
I mean,
You listened to a
that
talk
wasn't
show where
part
they
of
were
it.
like, this doesn't mean the bad word in Britain, but you won't listen to a talk show about who labeled the fingers?
No, the talk
Seems
show I
like
was watching.
fairly lazy writing, Devin.
No, the talk show I was watching was like a normal interview with an actor, and he was like, "Yeah, I did 2 of these," and he did this to the. He was like, "You can't do this to me. This means this. 2 fingers means the middle finger in my country."
Conquistador brings up a really good point. If he needs to plug his ears, which 2 fingers would he use, Devin?
Your pointers, because you're pointing inside your ear. Actually, but I guess it depends, because if you got really like tiny ear holes, you can use your pinkies.
Also,
What if you have
I
really
know
fat pinkies and really tiny ear holes?
Then you need to find something else.
all right, we've kind of gone against our censorship, but I still think we should censor Conquistador. I don't know.
First
that
off, it's
name
not
alone-
Conquistador because there's no T. It's Conquistador. Yeah. He
Yeah.
adores
In that case,
queefs.
do whatever you want with it then. Okay. Well, Devin, that's a thought. I can't honestly think of like an answer. Like,
You got nothing?
the only thing I can think of is just over time, people have designated certain fingers to a purpose. So I don't know.
So why is it? So another question: why is it called the bird? Like giving someone the bird. Why is it called the bird?
I don't know,
Because
let's go.
with the birds and the bees, you gotta
You got a hole in one hand and the finger in the other, or what?
When your bird's in being, you're
you
using
gotta
the middle
plow
finger.
the field before you plant the seed, and you use the bird.
According to sources in the 19th century, one could give a bird as a symbol of displeasure. So I
Like
don't
an
know.
actual bird, or like a middle finger bird.
I think that's where this came from.
Interesting.
I give
Flipping
you
on
the
the bird?
bird, good sir, and like just shows that you're displeased.
Can you imagine someone being so ticked off with someone that they go either hunt a bird, like bird, just to give to someone else, and be like, "I'm upset with you."
I know you go out of your way to like go catch a bird, just be like, oh, he's gonna get it.
This makes me even angrier.
That gives a new meaning to that 12 Days of Christmas song, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
12
Because they
Alright.
give like so many birds in that 12 Days of
Yeah,
Christmas.
it's like 69 birds or something.
Oh my god, they did not have a good Christmas.
truly displeased with that Christmas. All right. Well, good thought, Devin.
Thanks.
Let's go ahead and drift into our topic. As we said at the start of the show, it's Marvel's What If is what we're talking about, season 2. We got 9 episodes of kind of uninteresting bull. The questions, like the what ifs, were good. Like I felt like they were going somewhere, but each one was just kind of, in my opinion, they really leaned into the everybody's a Tony Stark dialogue. It was very cheesy, and all that good stuff. But let's kind of go episode by episode really quick. Starting with episode 1, what if Nebula joined the Nova Corps? This episode was, I think it was heavily influenced by like Blade Runner and like almost kind of like Judge Dredd. It had like a crime noir kind of setting. But what are y'all's thoughts on episode 1?
I thought it sucked.
Yeah, I did too. Like I didn't care for the fact that she was trying to play that I don't feel emotions kind of
It was
cop who just goes in and does stuff.
Yeah, it was boring. The whole story was boring, and then the big reveal at the end was also boring.
Kind of saw it coming.
Yeah.
I also think Nebula was the wrong choice for this episode. Like maybe if they had like another character
Yeah.
doing it, just Nebula was just not it for me.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't.
I think what would have made it better is if, like, by the end of it, she became like the Nova that we know with the powers and everything, and not just another cop.
Or
Or
if it
Yeah.
was Thanos who joined the Nova Corps.
that'd be interesting.
And then he
That
would
is
get
one
his
thing
butt
about-
whooped because he was super
That's something
nerfed.
about What If that I think we talked about last time. Was this show really makes Thanos just look like the biggest pushover
Yeah.
on the face of the planet.
Well, don't you know that it's really just the main universe that he's a badass. Every other
Yeah.
universe, he doesn't have it.
Every episode that had Thanos in it, he dies. It's just like, okay, great. But yeah, for me, a big shining moment in episode 1 was the return of my personal favorite MCU character who
Korg.
needs more attention.
Howard the Duck.
Is Howard the Duck.
Ah.
I need more Howard the. In fact, I think this whole episode should have been, what if Howard the Duck was a bigger part in the MCU? It would have been great.
I liked his quack at the end. That was unexpected to me.
Yeah,
Who
he was
is
just
the
like,
voice
"Wow."
actor for it? Because I know I recognize their voice. I just don't know from. What?
Seth Green.
Oh.
Yeah, I agree. The writing and it's in every episode. The writing in these episodes are very poor. Just like I said, everybody's a quippy,
So,
funny person.
can I say something?
No.
I said this in the group chat, but I want to make sure that I say it here too before I forget. I feel like as a whole, this series would be a whole lot better if they stopped focusing on trying to make it like this season into a storyline and just do one shots of What If. Because
Yeah.
trying to tie everything back into a storyline is what's killing it.
I don't mind the storyline. It's just that when every episode ties into it, like I feel like the last season of What If, it was 8 different episodes, and then the last 2 episodes, they were like, by the way, we're pulling you all together. I think that's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But in this one, it was like the adventures of Captain Carter.
Which
Yeah.
I saw online, someone wrote, like, MCU needs to realize nobody cares about Captain. Like, she was cool to see. No, she was cool to see. But now they're like, oh, she's going to be the face of What If. She's going to be in everything. She didn't need, like, 2 whole episodes just by herself. Because I felt like that destroyed the whole idea of What If.
Yeah, I don't know. It does fall short whenever they try to like force a storyline just for that main storyline. But I mean, I didn't mind. I really do like Captain Carter, and it's starting to feel like her show, anyways. Especially this season, it followed heavily on Captain Carter.
My favorite was Kahori.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah,
Kahori
she was the
great.
coolest.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and get into episode 2 then. Episode 2, which was
Gamora and Tony Stark, right?
yeah, was that one? Let's see. Filler.
How
Oh,
about them Cowboys?
Yo,
I don't care. I don't
Isn't
care.
the
about
isn't the
Oh,
game
what?
still going on right now?
I hope they lose.
What if season 2,
Yeah,
episode
it
2
was-
is what if Peter Quill attacked Earth's mightiest heroes?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I thought that one wasn't too bad, but
Yeah.
again, no, we cannot say spoiler alert.
Yeah,
It was.
it made
Yeah.
me miss old Thor. Like whenever Thor showed up in this episode, he was pretty serious.
Yeah.
And unpopular opinion, I think Taika Waititi is the worst thing to ever happen to the MCU. He opened a door that now every movie has to be a silly, ridiculous mess.
It's not
And-
true.
It's very true. Are you?
It
kidding
wasn't
me?
him that started it, though.
Ugh.
It was
He-
James Gunn that started it, and then he
James
went
Gunn-
after it.
No, James Gunn did it in a way better way. That like the comedy was appropriately placed. Taika, he just kind of the whole plot is just ridiculous. Especially like look at Love and Thunder. It's just like they literally gave him no leash in that movie, and it was a joke.
I know,
And
but also look at the other movie he directed, which was one of the best at the time.
Yeah, I don't know, but I do think I don't want to say I blame him, but he definitely doesn't help. And I swear to God, if I see Korg one more time, I'm going to burn my house down. It dry. I just how just jokey he is. It's just like we can say one line without it being a joke. That would be great. But yeah, like this, I miss when Thor was taken seriously. And
Same.
this episode made me remember that because Thor wasn't a joke in this episode. He was very serious. He had like a joke or two, but it wasn't like every second he said just like I'm a dumb blonde. And so it's just kind of like whatever.
I like seeing what is it, Foster, the giant man?
Yeah.
That was cool. I like being able to see that.
Really cool. What was really weird was hearing Michael Douglas's old voice on young Hank Pym. It was just really weird. It didn't quite fit. But yeah, the episode was pretty interesting. I liked the kind of relationship that Hope and Peter had. It was an interesting take. But like I said, each episode had better potential than it was given. Like 80s Avengers team up could have been a lot cooler than what we got.
Yeah.
But yeah. Episode 3, which is probably the worst episode in the whole season. It's the Christmas episode. Happy Hogan Saves Christmas.
That was the worst.
Yeah. And more to the point, I was kind of annoyed that they I would assume that was a one-shot thing, and then they bring him that same version of him back in other things later in the season.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
The
how?
Incredible Bulk. And it was just like, what the hell are you doing here? And also, since he's Hulk, does that make him Hulk Hogan?
That might have been the joke,
Yeah.
and you ruined it.
How did I ruin it? I brought it to light.
It's better when no one talked about it, Greg.
But I think this episode would have been better. I loved that they brought Sam Rockwell's character back. Something Hammer. I don't remember.
He was Justin Hammer. I think he was the best part about this whole episode.
He was great. And part of me thinks the episode would have been better. Like, first, take away the Christmas element and the Die Hard shit.
Well, it did come out on Christmas Eve, I think is why they did it.
Yeah, but to make the episode better, in my opinion. Like, what if Hammer almost... He can still storm the Avengers Tower, but what if Hammer made his own version of Ultron? Like, that would have been interesting, because you see Hammer, he takes over all the Stark bots and all that stuff. I just think it'd be interesting if he had his own kind of thing instead of just using Tony's shit. But
Tony has the best hit. He learned that in Iron Man 2.
Yeah, Iron Man 2. But I don't know. This definitely was by far the worst episode the whole season.
I do want him to come. I want Justin Hammer to come back in another.
He's rumored to come back in Armor Wars.
Oh, good. I really like him. I really liked him as a character in Iron Man 2, even though the movie wasn't so great. And I just think he'd do great. He'd do great things.
He'd be great. All right. Episode 4. What if Tony landed on Sakaar?
Wait.
Yeah.
Wasn't episode 1?
Episode 1 was Nebula getting on Nova.
It wasn't the first Peggy Carter episode?
No.
Oh.
I had the list right
At some point, I thought that I watched it in order, but I thought I started it late, and then I feel like I went back and saw that was the one at the top of my list, which is why I was confused.
No, it was Nebula.
Okay.
So episode 4 is Tony on Sakaar. This one is where I first had my thought of Taika really bothering me in the MCU. Like, all of my notes are basically hate notes directed at Taika Waititi.
And if you have a problem with that, Taika Waititi, come fight Tim on the podcast.
Yeah, I'll beat you up.
Yeah.
Whatever
I heard
happened
the
to
New
Sean
Zealanders
Bean?
are pacifists.
Did you beat him up? That's why we haven't heard back from him?
No, Sean Beam is just too cool for us.
Yeah.
Who?
But
Is that the brother of Jim Bean?
Do you not remember?
He was
Sean
the first person I challenged to a fight on the podcast.
Oh.
Bean versus the
Fisted
Green.
times.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. All right. So Tony's on Sakaar. Basically, from the first Avengers movie, he like brings the nuke up into space, and he doesn't make it back through the portal. I really could not stand the Grand Master in this one. He was such a pain in the ass. Like whenever he's like, they're doing the racing was cool. I thought that was neat. But like whenever he's just like, on your mark, get set, wait for it, and like he just kept doing that. I was just like, God, just fucking go. But that was a pretty frustrating episode for me. But what about y'all?
I mean, I didn't hate the episode. I thought it was one of the better ones at this point. Yeah.
But even then, it's not very good.
I don't think any of the episodes in the season were very good.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. All right. Next episode then. Next up.
Also, in the last one, the Iron Man one, I also did not like the suit he came up with. Thought it was bulky and stupid.
Well, he built his suit with a bunch of scraps.
I don't care. He made a better suit in a cave with like primitive equipment than he did on like a junk planet from space.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, with all the space junk, you should be able to
do something cool, right?
Cool. But I mean, it was young Iron Man. It was like Avengers 1 Iron Man. He couldn't like make like the super cool nanotech.
And I didn't expect him to do that, but I expected the suit to look better than it did. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. It was very Hulkbuster too.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting. Let's see. Episode, what did we just say? Sakaar?
Captain Carter 2.
Yeah, what if Captain Carter fought the Hydra Stomper?
That's another one I thought was really boring.
Really? This one I started getting interested in. Like, because I liked the whole Winter Soldier kind of motif it was going for. Because the Winter Soldier, Captain America Winter Soldier, is one of the top tier MCU movies.
Yeah.
So, but it was the same thing.
Well, yeah, it's just same thing, different. It's just got like a flip on it. And that's what I found was interesting about it. I was like, okay, finally, like I'm actually interested and care about this storyline. But even that, like it fell short.
I felt bad for Natasha because you could tell that she wanted into Captain Carter's cargo pants.
Yeah, that's a shame.
And then Steve just had to show up.
That damn Steve Rogers and his beard.
If she knew better, she wouldn't have told her. She would have been like, he's going to stay on that ship, and ain't no one going to know.
Yeah. But I thought this was one of the more interesting episodes in the season. I really liked... I liked her Captain Carter's... y'all remember in the
stealth suit?
Yeah, the stealth suit.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool. I like how they tried to connect as much as possible to the Black Widow movie that nobody saw.
Saw it. I actually didn't hate the Black Widow movie.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was good.
It came too late for me. That's why I didn't care.
Well, that always happens, am I
right? Like, comment, and subscribe. But yeah, this episode was slightly better. Flippo, I've been kind of ignoring you. You've been.
No, you're fine. I'm here for more support.
He didn't watch them.
I didn't get a chance to.
Oh, you're just listening to that.
Best episode, I think.
The last one, like the title you said, it sounded boring just from hearing the title.
Yeah.
Some of these titles are too long.
In this episode, we get official confirmation that Sasquatch is officially canon in the MCU.
What?
That's not true. Just because someone is canon in like a what if doesn't mean it's canon in the regular one.
He's canon because Nick Fury says doesn't mean we didn't even tell you about Bigfoot either. I'm just like, he exists. And so I mean, for those who don't know, Sasquatch is an actual Marvel character in the comics, and I just
what is his powers?
Super strength.
Lame.
He could have also been facetious when he said that too. You know what I'm saying?
I took it as confirmation. So, MCU, make the Sasquatch movie.
I would have loved to see an episode of this that tied into what we should expect from Deadpool. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, it's the multiverse. Bring him in. But
Yeah.
I feel like they're not going to do anything with him until
Because
the movie.
Well, because clearly this whole thing, they say it like it's what if these scenarios happened in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but Kahori ain't part of that universe.
Well,
Yet,
I mean,
They dedicated a whole episode,
yet,
and she's not even part of the normal Marvel universe. She is a brand new, made itself up character.
well, you will use that as a segue into the next episode, which is what if Kahori reshaped the world? Like Devin said, this is a completely original character, not in the comics, not in any of the movies. This is brand new. And this is the best episode in the whole season.
yes.
True, if you can get past having to read everything.
I
loved it. Yeah, I love that they used.
I
the
loved it.
language.
I loved it, except that I was also trying to do other things, so I was like, oh god, and having to keep rewinding to watch it to see what I missed.
Well, that sounds like a personal
But past that, it was great. It was a personal problem, but I'm gonna bring it up, Tim. You don't bring your personal feelings into things like work.
No, I bring my personal feelings into things like answering your dumb questions.
Like what?
What? Oh, my washer's running. I gotta catch it.
Well, here's my question for y'all. Do y'all think Kahori has a future in the MCU?
I hope so.
Like outside of What If?
No,
I think she does.
I think
there's tremendous potential that she could be brought into live action.
I don't.
Really? Why?
Mostly because I feel like if they tried, how do I put this? I don't know the best way to put this kindly. I feel like it's gonna be like a, we're
Racist?
doing this kind of a racial thing, yeah. Not like,
Don't say
not
it.
like,
Don't say it.
yeah.
Don't say it.
But you know what I mean, though, right?
No, I don't. I'm not, I have no
So
idea.
he has to say it.
Yeah.
All right, say
Yeah.
your racist comment.
No, it's not a racist comment.
Devin's like, I hate Native Americans. Calm
No,
down, Devin.
That's not it. I feel like if they were to bring her in, there would be backlash from like Native American cultures about it.
Why?
Because I feel like the MCU, because based on the way that this episode went, they're gonna try to do it super like stereotypical as introducing her, and it's not gonna go well.
I think that's dependent on how they introduce her. Like if
Yeah,
they have
they've
a
done
bunch
well.
of Native American consults and they use Native American actors instead of white people in brown face.
Writers and directors.
Yeah.
But
American.
But I will watch any Marvel movie, but I know that I have also lost faith in some of their more recent stuff. Like they do not have the same strength that they used to. And so it would terrify me.
Devin watched the episode and was like, the real heroes are the colonizers.
Devin's like, I remember when it was only white actors.
No, but that does remind me. I was watching Ted Lasso the other night.
It sounds racist, Devin, so I'm going to cut you off there.
No, I was watching Ted Lasso last night, and one of their characters was like, how do you celebrate Christmas at home? What does it make you think of? What traditions do you have? And he goes, nothing. It reminds me of colonizers. And I was like, oh, God. Okay, moving on.
I wrote a joke down just because, it was really late whenever I watched this. So Kahari is imbued with the Space Stone,
Yeah.
one of the Infinity Stones. But technically, aren't all the Infinity Stones Space Stones? Because they're all from space.
But
I was going to say, Tim, should we leave at the count of 3?
no.
I didn't say it was a funny joke.
I thought it was
Whatever.
fantastic.
My brother just said our chat is lame.
It really is.
We know.
It's literally me responding somewhat to his messages.
Yeah.
And we are aware.
Well, what's one of his most recent messages?
He said, "I like all the talking, but when do the clothes come off?" And I said, "Share the podcast with all your friends, and we will."
Bro,
Yeah.
my clothes are already off.
He also
Ew.
had a entire message, like a whole novel about Timothy Chalamet that he copy and pasted from Wikipedia, probably. He said
Ooh, but I want to hear it.
that you
Read it.
drink water weird, Greg.
It's because he knows I hate Timothy Chalamet. And also, what do you mean I drink water weird? I drink it like any normal human being.
Oh, he said the Timothy Chalamet stuff came from IMDb.
Oh,
Yeah.
still nonetheless. Next episode.
Wait, can we ask why you hate Timothy Chalamet so much?
I think he's a pretentious little asshole that it just gets handed things. I don't think he's a talented actor, and I just don't like him.
So you two have a lot in common then.
Yeah, exactly. Episode 7. What if Hela found the 10 rings?
I liked this one quite. This was probably one of my favorites.
Explain, because I really did not like it.
I will agree. This was probably my second or third favorite. Yeah.
I liked it because it was unexpected. I liked to see such a big change from the Goddess of Death. Because I was curious, she's so adamant about like hating everything, wanting to kill everything. Like, how do you find where is she going to go? How is she going to find the change? You know what I mean? How is she going to change? And so being able to watch that and then still give mercy to her father, I thought was great. I was less of a fan of the end when they're like, "All right, now we're going to race through space and save everybody." That felt very, I guess, almost. No, I'm not even going to say it. Very savior-esque, and I was like, I'm not a fan of this part of it.
You mean Deus Ex?
Nope, that's not what I was going to say. Not what I was going to say, but yeah, okay. But I mean, everything about it I really liked. I liked seeing how she transitioned into Ta Lo, and why they chose to accept her.
Oh, I thought you were going to keep going, but then you just took a drink. You're like, I'm done.
I'm done.
Well,
But what about Tim? Tim said he liked it. Why did Tim like it?
Okay, what did you get, Tim?
I just thought it was really fun. That's it.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
I'm glad you're on the show.
appreciate it.
Well, for me, what I didn't like, I did like the beginning of the episode. I heard Thor 1 where he cast Hela out and did the whole helmet thing. Like,
I thought the
whoever wears
helmet
this-
thing was weird. Like,
Weird choice.
here, let me take your helmet and throw it away.
Well, that's what happened in Thor. Like,
He took
takes
his
the
hammer, but not the helmet's just
that's
so
her-
silly.
Apparently, that's like her whole power.
It's still
is that
silly.
helmet.
It is. I agree that all of her power comes from her helmet. Come on.
Anyways,
When she herself wielded the hammer as her weapon.
I don't know, but I don't know. For me, I just liked the mirroring
Okay.
of like the whole being cast out. I thought the voice actor of Odin was pretty good. Didn't quite sound like Anthony Hopkins, but was still
No one
pretty
can.
good.
I also
But
liked the
this-
fight. But sorry, between them and Odin, I thought that was a cool
Yeah.
fight. But your brother,
What is wrong with you?
I'm dying. Your brother wants
Drink
to
some water.
know about the Strange Wilderness Countdown and why you didn't do it.
Strange. Because I just wanted to start. I'm sorry. Well, backstory for those who know, every episode I count in like 3, 2, 1. We're talking, and now Tim's leaving because I guess his little tummy hurts or he's coughing too much. But yeah, this episode it kind of goes really heavy into the writing that I didn't like. Like the whole it's like I said, everybody's a quippy person. They made Hela like super sassy, which I guess she is sassy in Ragnarok, but I don't know, it just didn't grip me.
I only hate it when they make the characters who were already established to be sassy, or already established not to be sassy. You know what I mean? Like, hello, already sassy in
Yeah.
Ragnarok, and so to see it again didn't bother me. You know what I mean?
I also think, I mean, obviously these are 30-minute long episodes.
Yeah.
But Hela's change happened pretty quickly. I don't know how long she was there for, but she learned mercy oddly quick.
I think she was there for a while.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, this episode just kind of, it didn't grip me. It wasn't bad, but I didn't. It's right up on the list of I didn't care. And that's why I wound up just not liking the episode. Episode 9. What if the Avengers assembled in 1602? Sorry, this is episode 8. My bad. I jumped ahead. This episode I thought was going to have the most potential to be interesting.
It was a big letdown.
It really was. I was kind of hoping that it would use like old heroes, like old established heroes. I wasn't expecting them to just use the Avengers.
Well, it's not even that they use the Avengers. They use the Avengers all from different time periods. Like, clearly they're all like still relatively modern.
Yeah, and that's what I didn't like about it. I thought it would have been cool if they had like older character. I mean, I don't know if there's any like old Marvel characters off the top of my head who were around at that time. But like if DC did a thing, I would expect like Jonah Hex to be a part of the Justice League and all that stuff. Just characters that were set in that time period. That's what I was expecting, but instead they just threw the Avengers that we know.
What's
well again,
what's Helsing?
Van Helsing?
Yeah, or I mean, I guess Werewolf by Night would be under there too, right?
Yeah,
if you can do it that way.
Fucking bring in Man-Thing again. I love Man.
But again, a lot of this, I feel like they didn't do that because a lot of this is in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And we have not been introduced to a lot of those new heroes that would take place in this time.
Well, we've never been introduced to Kahari, and they did that. So,
but but that was part of their season of their like season 2 story arc.
There is no excuse, in my opinion. They could have thrown in anybody they wanted. But yeah, that was kind of a letdown. Also, all season long, I was thinking, are they not allowed to use the Hulk this season? And whenever we finally got introduced to him, for a moment, I thought they were going to make Bruce Banner Dr. Doom or something.
Who's getting text messages?
Probably Tim.
The popular one.
But so Bruce Banner, he's wearing like this metal face and this little hood that looked all green and tattered. And for a moment, I was like, oh my God, is he going to be Dr. Doom? But then he just turns into the Hulk. And then I'm just like, okay, never mind.
I get the reference, the Man in the Iron Mask, but also like, why? If he was just going to grow and break that mask off anyway, what was the whole purpose?
I don't know.
I did really enjoy listening to the Hulk talk in like that old English style, like, oh, thee are not pumpkins or whatever.
Hulk smash thee and all that stuff. But I don't know. This episode, like I said, was kind of a disappointment. I feel like it would have been a little more interesting if they had, like what they did with Kahari, broke the mold a little bit and did something more interesting.
I just didn't care that it was another Captain Carter thing. I was like, meh.
Yeah. Like I said, it's the season of Captain Carter.
I did not care for it.
Tim, what did you think about episode 8?
Avengers in the 1602.
Yeah. I thought it was really interesting at first. And then it got boring in the middle part of it. And then at the end, I thought it picked up again. And then
it was also really predictable.
And then when Stephen Strange showed up and pulled Carter out, I thought that was like, I was like, oh my God, it's interesting. And then they killed it with episode 9. And by killed it, I mean it wasn't a good episode.
Did you guys, like, you predicted what was going to happen with Steve, right? Like, they're like, oh, it's someone here. And then you meet Steve and you're like, oh, clearly it's got to be him.
I will say, I wasn't expecting it to be Infinity War Steve. But it kind of made sense whenever he said like he hit the time stone and then it just sent him back in time. But yeah, let's go ahead and segue into the final episode. What if Stephen Strange intervened?
Garbage.
Or Strange Supreme intervened?
Garbage.
Yeah.
It had potential. I mean, every episode had potential, but this one loved the ending of the episode the most. Like whenever it's like fighting him and like they're handing Peggy and Kahari all the items and all that stuff.
When they start picking up those items and just getting random abilities and using them to like their potential,
Like
I'm like,
this their whole freaking life.
Right. I thought it was so stupid.
And you know what,
So
Greg? I liked
stupid.
the ending too. I liked when the credits rolled and that episode was over.
Yeah. I concur.
But yeah, it was interesting. I did foresee the Steven betrayal, the Doctor Strange betrayal happening, but I mean,
How could you not? Who else would be the bad guy in the episode?
I saw it and I didn't even watch the episode.
I did not see it coming, and I was really annoyed by it. I was like, he literally had this huge like character growth arc of becoming a good guy last season, just to end up being a bad guy.
Lame.
Jerk. They should have given him at least one season of being a good guy, a whole season, and then made him a bad guy.
So it should have been a season of Strange instead of Carter.
No, I just think
I would have been more interested in that. I would have been more interested in that because at least this Doctor Strange is significantly different from the Doctor Strange we have in
I would have been more
the
interested
MCU.
in if the bad guy was Red Skull from Kohari's universe.
Yeah.
Because he was on Mount Rushmore, and I thought that was, yeah.
Well, let's all agree that the final moment of the episode was
The credits.
Yeah, my favorite part in the entire series was the tie-in to Loki season 2.
Oh, right, yeah.
Oh, what happened? Give me deets.
So the Watcher and Peggy Carter. So Stephen Strange, that whole episode, he's trying to resurrect his universe and he succeeds, but sacrifices himself. And they're on his universe where Stephen Strange was never born, and everything is peaceful and wonderful. And Peggy's there with the Watcher, and the Watcher says, "Do you want to go back to your universe?" And she says, "Yeah, but I don't mind a few pit stops along the way." And the Watcher says, "Oh, well, you haven't seen anything yet," and like does a little hand move, and you see what is it called, the Yggdrasil tree?
Yeah, Yggdrasil.
Yggdrasil tree that Loki creates at the end of Loki season 2 with all the timelines. So I thought that was like the only moment of the whole season where I went like, oh, and then it ended, and I was like, oh. Okay.
Is that the sound you make in the bedroom?
Yeah, actually.
So,
While you're throwing your back out, right?
what do you think about this fan casting for the new King? And be prepared. It's a curveball. Timothy Chalamet plays King.
Was that Queef?
Yeah.
Queef?
That was the Queefador.
Shut up. Honestly, I think it'll never happen just because Jonathan Majors, not Jonathan Majors, but this character that I have in mind was burned by Disney recently. I think John Boyega would be an interesting recasting of Kang. They kind of look the same, and so it's just kind of like, I thought that would be interesting.
I would hate this casting, but I also find it funny that people have been talking about, like, what if they brought back the original Rhodey and made him Kang? I forget his name.
I saw on Facebook.
I think it's Terrence Howard. Is that his
name?
No, but Terrence Howard is covering for Glenn from Walking Dead for... It's not Thunderbolts. I put it in the chat.
Glenn was in Thunderbolts. It's not that?
Glenn
for Sentry?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't like that.
well, let's go on ahead and drift into final thoughts for the season. Anything that we forgot to mention, and we'll do capes. So let's start with Flippo. What are your final thoughts and capes on What If Season 2?
Or would you watch it since you didn't watch it?
I don't know if I'd watch. I tried watching the first one. I did not. From what I've heard, I think the first season was more interesting than the second season.
Yeah.
Like they're trying second.
Yeah, I did
to
like the first
tie them
season.
all together.
Yeah. What are your capes? Just by listening.
5 out of 10, somewhere around there. I don't know.
Okay.
Mediocre cape. Dirty capes. 4 dirty capes.
Tim, what are your final thoughts and capes?
Final thoughts. It was. I would say 7 of the episodes weren't very good. 2 of them I thought were good. I'd probably give it 3 capes out of 10, and I wouldn't watch it again. And Devin already hit it. You know, my one point is they're trying too hard to have this random story for Captain Carter. When I think if they would have just had 7 or 8 random episodes and then 1 or 2 episodes like I gotta pull you all together to save the multiverse, that would have been fine.
Well, they already did that in the first season. They had to like find something else to do.
Yeah, but it
Well,
would
I'd
have
rather-
worked better than what they did, I feel like.
And I would rather them just not have something that ties them all together. I'd rather just see like 4, like 8 or 9. What if this were to happen? And that's it. Nothing pulls them together. That's
Because like
just
in the first season, Ultron was a menace. Like I thought the fight with Ultron at the end was great. I was like, this is awesome. But there was nothing really like big in this season that made you like, oh, this is great.
Yeah.
Except for Purple Hulk Hogan. But I don't know.
Coming back randomly in another timeline.
Yeah. It's like, okay, great. Devin, what about you? Thoughts?
I'm gonna go with Tim. I give it 3 capes. I was less interested in this. I watched them every day they came out, but like it was more out of necessity than pleasure. I felt like it felt like work having to log on and do them every day. Yeah, I told you I'd rather them just do 9 random episodes and not tie them in. Period.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I don't give a dang about Peggy Carter. I'm sick of her. They think that she's like the cure to cancer.
Or it
is
would
how
have
they
been
treat
a cool
her.
season if they'd followed the What If, the X-Men versus Avengers What If story arc. I think that would have been so cool.
Yeah.
Did you say capes, Devin?
Yeah.
Said 300.
All right. Well, my final thoughts are pretty much agreeing with all of you. It's very lackluster. It had a couple of moments that I enjoyed. The concept of the episodes could have been a lot better than they were. I feel like the writing in all of them was really cheesy. Kahori definitely was a standout episode. I'm gonna give it 4 out of 10 capes, just for the Kahori episode.
The only person who, the person who rated it the highest didn't even watch it.
All right.
Which, it's all a real shame because the first season was good.
Yeah.
Just have it drop the ball so hard.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go ahead. Oh wait, do we have any final thoughts from Conquistador?
Yeah. He actually had a couple of really good final thoughts. He said, if not Kang, then Timothée Chalamet can play Galactus. He said he'd give What If Season 2 8 out of 10 Timothée Chalamets.
Oh,
So many Chalamets.
God, I hate him. All right. Well, let's go ahead and edit there.
Thank you guys for joining us today with the Cape Complainers.
Don't forget to like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.
Check out our YouTube channel and our Twitch stream where we're Twitching our episodes live on Sundays.
You have 2 ears and a heart, don't you? Well, you should listen to the Cape Complainers on all of the streaming platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcast, YouTube's, all of them. And don't forget that nobody complains like a fan. We will see y'all next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Eh.
He also says that Wonka is now in theaters if you want to go watch it, Greg.
No.
Is it still in theaters?
I have no
Oh
idea.
God.